I've been accused of going in the tire shed and soaking someone's child's tire. I've been accused of that post that you had said. They were saying that unless you're a part of our clique, you won't pass tire samples.
It's the Kenny Wallace Conversation, brought to you by JEGS.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kenny Conversation, brought to you by JEGS, the leader in high-performance aftermarket car parts. Remember to go to jegs.com for everything you need to fix your vehicles up. And they are telling me they have Jeep parts and truck parts in stock right now. All right, you are looking at Mini Me. This is my sister. We are the same. I love her so much. Ashly Burnett. Ashly, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
So I was on social media, and you say, I've had enough. I need a break. So let's start right there before we get to what you're all about. Have you been going pretty hard?
Yes, we've been going very hard.
Yeah, and Charlotte, North Carolina, Mooresville, Kannapolis, all that. You all have got what, like 10 inches of rain? What is going on down there with this rain?
Yeah, the hurricane just came through all day yesterday. So I think at one point we got 1 to 2 inches in an hour. So I have a pretty messy racetrack at the moment.
Yeah, so Ashly, her husband Jeremy, they own the legendary, the most famous short track in the world, Millbridge Speedway. And we're going to get to that. We're going to talk all about Millbridge Speedway. But Ashly, let's start with you. I was thinking about how to introduce you, but I just went to your Facebook page, and I absolutely love this because your family dynamics are incredible. And I'm just going to read what you wrote, and then we're going to talk about it. You said, and we're introducing Ashly right now. You said, Mason's mommy, Jeremy's wife, Nick Hoffman's sister, and the boss at Millbridge Speedway. That's all.
That's all.
I love it. So, oh my God, you are so dynamic. You do so much stuff. Born in Belleville, Illinois, and you just said you own Millbridge Speedway. You do so much stuff. But let's just start right there. So many people actually say, I'm going to move south. I'm going NASCAR. So how did you get out of Belleville, Illinois? What do you remember as a child? How did you move south?
Well, my dad just came home one day and said, we're going to North Carolina. And I said, I'm not going. And I really, when dad says we're going somewhere, that's about the end of it. So then we moved to North Carolina. Dad wanted to pursue engine building in NASCAR, and I call it my brother Carl Edwards wanted to go NASCAR racing. So we all just packed up and moved to North Carolina.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Beverly Hillbillies. Everybody packed up. So
pretty much what it was.
Yeah, the Wallace family, of course, my family, we all moved to North Carolina. 1984, I went down as a crew chief. I came back, went back. But anyway, I feel like we were doing this, Ashly. Here you all come. I didn't know it. Your father, Daryl Hoffman, built my motors when I started racing at Kern Racing Engines. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of weird. Like 30 years later, we all meet up. I'm like, who's your dad? Oh, my gosh. So this whole dynamic, your dad, Daryl, was a really good winning race car driver. Uncle Dean, you love Carl Edwards from right here. Yes, the NASCAR driver. Tell me about this dynamic. And then your husband and y'all are go-kart racing. Tell me about this racing family.
Yeah, we both kind of grew up two very separate lives. I grew up at the dirt track, Belclair, St. Charles, Peevely, and he grew up with his brother, Randall Burnett, right around running go-karts. And after we kind of met here in North Carolina. He grew up in Fenton. I grew up in Belleville, and we met here in North Carolina. And when we did, would talk about things like he helped Schrader. So half the times when he was at Peebly with Schrader, I was there with my dad, and we did not know each other. I mean, I'm sure we crossed paths many times, but my dad would buy go-kart parts from his dad, and we just never knew any of that until, here we are, 20 years later, meeting up here in North Carolina. So
Right.
he grew up asphalt, and he did a lot with Schrader, and his brother was into the go-kart stuff, the road course asphalt go-karts, and then eventually into the asphalt late model world. And I grew up on the dirt world. I didn't want to have anything to do with asphalt anything. So very big dynamic. And then I kind of pulled him into the dirt world, and we kind of left the asphalt stuff behind.
Before we let things go away, right? So when people talk, I am listening. As much as I talk, I do hear. One thing that we gotta talk about, you just said, and you just glossed right over. Your husband, Jeremy, brother is Randall, who is Kyle Busch's crew chief.
Yes.
Okay, you say that so easily, like, yes. But I mean, this is an incredible dynamic. What is it like at Thanksgiving? What is it like at Christmas? Are you a family, or do you just ignore each other? I mean, this dynamic, what's it like?
It's hard for us. We don't ever really everyone get together. Holidays are a little different because everybody's everywhere. Whenever NASCAR's off, they're traveling. When we're off, we're traveling. So it's hard to get everybody together. It's really funny how Millbridge not only made me and my husband close and we work together, but also now my brother's son Maddox races here, and his brother son Tatum races here. So now on Tuesday nights we're all together, and that never happens. So I'm very proud of my family. I'm not only am I proud of what Jeremy and I have accomplished, but I was there with Randall when he graduated college and went on to be an engineer. So to see him go from college running dirt late models, asphalt late models, we wanted to go to Martinsville one year, and we had to raise money just for him to be able to race at Martinsville one year for the big late model race. So it's just crazy to see how far he's gone, how far my brother's gone. Us as a family, as a whole, everyone goes their separate ways, but we're always here to support and kind of push each other along here.
Okay, so we have kind of laid the groundwork. You come out of Belleville, Illinois, which is basically St. Louis, Missouri, right across the Mississippi River.
My husband will say, no, I was not from St. Louis. He'll tell you that.
Well,
he'll say, you from a whole different state. And I'll say, it's still the same.
So this is all about you, Ashly. We've already introduced, who you are, who your family members are. I want to talk about that racetrack you have there, Millbridge Speedway. I think that your personality shines. You don't put up with any bullshit. You're like me. People always say, Kenny Wallace, you're a nice guy, but you say it the way it is. I'm like, oh, wait till you see Ashly Burnett. Super nice. Until you try to do her dirty. You try to do her wrong. And we're going to get to that. Okay. But I love your personality, because it takes a strong promoter, because there's an old saying, competition will kill you. They try to walk all over you to get an advantage. Tell me about, now we're going to back up a little bit. I just wanted to explain to people the way you are. Millbridge. What'd you do? Drive out this country road one day and say, hey, let's buy this little racetrack?
Well, there's two stories. One, years ago, I tell the story all the time that years ago, me and Dad did drive by Millbridge, and it had a for sale sign up, and it was all weeds up. And I said, Dad, we need to buy that racetrack. This is before I even met Jeremy. So we need to buy that racetrack. He said, you crazy? The racetrack's, that's way too much time and work, and we don't have any of that. And I said, okay. And here, I don't even know how many years later, 5-10 years later, we had a traveling series for our outlaw carts, and Millbridge was one of the stops. And the promoter decided that he was done in the middle of the season, so we couldn't finish out our season at Millbridge, and it was our favorite stop with the outlaw carts. So Jeremy and 2 friends got together, and they're like, hey, we're going to lease Millbridge to the end of the year so we can finish out our season, and we'll be able to have our racetrack that we want. And he just kind of came home and said, hey, we're releasing this racetrack. And I said, that's way too much work. I said, I don't have time, and I'm not getting involved in that. And he said, okay. He said, we'll do it. And I said, that's not going to last long. And sure enough, it took a couple months for the other 2 friends to say, yeah, that's a lot of work. And it just kind of fell in our lap, and we took it over for what was supposed to be probably a couple seasons or 1 season. And here we are today, 14th season, I think.
Yeah. When you took over Millbridge, or the beginning of Millbridge, it looked like this kart track in somebody's backyard.
Yep.
Year by year, you kept getting the banking better. You kept getting the walls better. You just made everything better every single year. Now, the track is so awesome. You have open wheel midgets, full blown midgets like they run at the Chili Bowl. The constant progress of this racetrack. Tell me about that. It just gets better and better.
Yeah. Well, when Jeremy and I first took over, we always say that we like to go. I mean, obviously it's easy for us to go to big racetracks because we follow my brother around, but we always said that when you grow up in the Midwest and you go to these racetracks, like when you grow up at Peevely and Tri-City and places like that, you want to be that. And obviously we're not going to be anywhere near that, but I mean, we're building to be that. So every year we take every bit of our sponsorships, all billboards. We sell our billboards all the way around the racetrack. I completely sell out every single year, and I take every bit of that money to some kind of upgrade. This year, the Wheelin they came to me, Musco came to me for the lights, and they were like, hey, we're doing this little youth program, and we do a lot of youth baseball fields and soccer fields, and we think it would be cool to do a youth racetrack, and you came to mind. And I'm like, okay. So just stuff like that upgraded our lighting. Wheelin came to us with their caution lights, and obviously when we took over, they were just little lights that were painted yellow. So every year we just try to buy new things, scoreboards and video boards, and just to try to advance and get ahead. We don't want to be considered a go-kart track. So we just really want to put everything into this and hope that we can be the top tier micro track, go-kart track, whatever you want to call us. But we want to be the top.
I was at Millbridge. I was at your racetrack about 3 weeks ago. I love your complete family. I hung out with you, your husband, a little bit, but mostly I hung out with your dad, Daryl. We're the same age. We get along really well. And we were driving around the racetrack. We were pushing go-karts off. Actually, we're going to have Charlie. Charlie, pop that picture in right now. There we are. But your dad, I was holding this conversation. I said, Daryl, the walls around this racetrack. He goes, oh, yeah, that's when we were getting ready to promote an indoor midget race at the RCA Dome. We made these walls. My point is you guys work so hard. So you take these walls, I guess. Tell me the story. What is the story from your mouth about the walls? I mean, did you build the walls?
So we're friends with Cody Summer, and Cody came to us. We wanted to do an indoor race, so we got together with him and co-promoted the Indian doors, and the walls were Indian door walls. So he dropped all the metal off here. Funny story. We were just getting ready for Indy, and it was over the winter. So I was out here spraying every wall to make them white to load them up to go to Indy. And I sprayed them, and then overnight it froze, and it made them all look like they had ice on them. So I had to redo them all, because obviously when you take them inside a lighted basketball court, you're going to see the little icicles all over them. So we loaded them up, took them to Indy. When we realized that we weren't going to do Indy again, we just put them up here at Millbridge. And so they're the walls from the Indy indoors race that we did.
Yeah. And I just want to paint the picture, as they say in AM debate radio, for all of you that are listening. This family, this Hoffman family, Ashly, husband, brother, sister, mom, dad, they are nobody outworks you all. I mean, these are big metal walls, and you're a girl. You're a beautiful lady, but you got that tomboy quality. I mean, you're out there painting. It seems to me that you just don't complain. You just do whatever it takes. Where did you get that? Dad. Boy, he is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Uncle Dean brags on your father something immensely about how his 8-cylinder motor would break. One cylinder would be ruined. He'd shut it down so he could run on 7-cylinder. Your dad never gives up, does he?
No. And kind of, I guess, after the accident with the truck and trailer, it kind of showed that he never gives up. I mean, he's starting to slow down. I mean, he broke his back, so obviously it takes a toll on someone that's older, but he's still out here every single race day. And I know it's hard on my parents. I mean, they are getting older, so it's hard on my mom she watches my brother's kids, and then she comes out here and she runs my concession stand, and then dad will go to work during the day and then come out here and push cars off. But if my brother's racing, they'll take my brother's souvenir trailer and go racing with my brother. So it is a big, it's really hard for them to decide. I'm really open about it. I tell mom all the time, if you have to go with Nick, like, just make sure somebody's covered in the concession stand. Dad knows that he can go whenever he wants. So it is hard on them, because I'm sure it is hard I know they're not choosing which child to come help. But it probably is hard on them to leave me and go somewhere. We were in the middle of 7 races in 6 days. Yes, I said that right. We did we did races that's when you came and see me. I was at the fairgrounds and you showed up at Millbridge. I was doing a race at the fairgrounds while they were here at Millbridge doing a race. And they had to leave the day after and leave me to go to Eldora. So they never stop. I mean, he'll come work out here and then leave the next morning to go drive wherever to go watch Nick. So it's hard to keep up with 2 very busy children. But I think that keeps them young, and I think they enjoy to be a part of everything that we've accomplished in life. So that's good for me.
You're a beautiful daughter, where you recognize mom and dad are getting older. And same here. I hear my girls whispering, "Quit being so hard on mom. She's watched these grandbabies all week long." It's nice, Ashly, that you recognize that. So I want to tell you a little secret. While I was riding along with your dad, at your racetrack, he loves it. He loves you. He loves you. You and Nick have given your parents something to do, and I know they love you all equally. Yes, they work, and yes, they watch them babies, but boy, you and Nick and Jeremy, you have all given your mom and dad more life. He enjoys riding that side by side, gives us something to do. I'm speaking for myself too. I run this modified. So, okay. I want to brag on you more. As I say, I have my notes, my Larry Mackerel notes. You can chew gum and walk better than anybody I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going to put you at the top of the list. I'm going to put you better than any NASCAR Cup people. They can't hold a candle to you. Here's why. When I came down there, You were promoting the Iredell County Fair. So you had a race over here. Okay, you were doing that. Then that night, you had a race over here. 2 races going on at the exact same time. Now, here's what you do. And I wrote this down. Let me tell you what you do, Ashly. You and Jeremy run the racetrack. You have a vinyl business. You print off decals for people, and you decal race cars. You build trophies. You build all the trophies with your own hands. I see it. You take these vacations that are phenomenal. You go to Vegas. You like gambling. My wife loves gambling. You go to the F1 race. You are in this new modern era lady where this has to be your best friend. The apps. Ashly, how do you do it all? How do you do it all?
I don't know. People it's funny whenever me and you talk about going on vacations and you love it. The whole must be nice. I hear it all the time.
Must, M-U-S-S. Must be nice.
And well, it must be nice to have your husband home at 5 o'clock when he's done working, and you do laundry, make dinner, and you sit down and watch your favorite show. We literally work from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. Obviously, last night was different because it was raining, so we couldn't do anything at the track. Well, where was Jeremy? He was in the office printing. He had two wraps to do. So he literally will run in the office, hit print on a wrap, come out to the racetrack, prep it, water it, whatever he's got to do for that day, and then go back and either hit print again, cut something out, whatever. So scheduling we're very big on schedules, 100% on schedule every single day. When we wake up, we have a schedule. What a lot of people don't know, our locals know, but a lot of people don't know that this racetrack goes 7 days a week. We do track rentals every single day. I am booked up to a track rental till almost October. And in the summer, it's about 2 months out. And when I say track rentals, I don't just mean at night there's a track rental going. I just looked at my schedule this morning, and Sunday I have 3, 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6 p.m. So you literally come up here, get it ready. 1 starts, and you have 3 hours to go do something, because once that 3 hours is up, you're back up getting ready for the next one. So I've tried in the past to really start help Jeremy as much. He got a little overwhelmed a couple months ago, and I could see it taking a toll on him. So years ago, I obviously I know how to drive a water truck. I can't really fix anything, but I can box blade it and I can water it. So I try to do as many track rentals as I can for him. If he's really busy or has to go wrap a car for my brother, I'll get on track, water it, get it ready for a rental. But we just kind of help each other out. We know when one is getting overwhelmed and needs help. So I just say, stay here, do what you got to do. I'll go do the track rental, or I'll fill up the water truck for him so that it's less work for him when he gets up here. So we work together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live on property of our businesses. All of it are all done here on property at Millbridge. So it's just a lot of scheduling. And then when we do not have races, we literally must be nice, go on vacation, because that's the only time that we can really get away from our phones, people, everything. When you live on property of your business, there, even on a rainy day, there's no getting away from it. You find something to do. So when you leave and actually go on vacation, that is the only time that you can just get away from your business. So yeah, absolutely. Whenever we're off, we're going to go on vacation. We're going to spend our hard-earned money that we work really hard for, and we're going to go on vacations. So we have a 10-year-old son. So that's about the only time that we can really spend. I mean, we spend every day with him. He's homeschooled, so he's here with us, but that's the only time that we really get to spend family time with him. So absolutely, we're going to go on vacation.
I want to go down this path because it bothers me a little bit. And I want to talk to you about it. When my wife, Kim, and I got married. We went to Father John. She's Catholic. I'm Lutheran. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, oh, I'm going to be a race car driver. He said, be careful. Competition will kill you. I see this play out every night at your racetrack. These parents. Now, listen, I'm not calling anybody out. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But if it's you and you're listening, you're guilty. These parents, these people, they're insane with competition. They think they're the greatest. Nobody's better than me. And they bitch and they moan and they come to you. They scream at you. You're a lady. They scream at you. What is it like to deal with these grown men or mean ladies? Do you destroy their 8-year-old kids' race? What is that like for you?
It used to eat me up. I'd go home and just cry because did I do something wrong? Obviously, probably not. But I've gotten to now where I've set some and said, okay, if you want to come scream at you, you can stay at home next week. And I've been just parking them. They don't come race the next week. If you come in the tower during the race, you're parked immediately. So me being an absolute sorry bitch has helped, because just last week I had one that said some nasty things to my front gate lady because he didn't want to simply do what my front gate lady said. I went down there and snatched his wristband off and I said, here's your $15 and you can go home. And people have realized that you either come here, have fun, enjoy it, or you just go home. And we honestly, I'm going to say this, and it's race night tonight, Lord, please. I haven't really had many problems lately because they know that if we have a problem, if they're fighting with each other or they're fighting with me, they don't come back next week, or they get banned. And we're about there's some races that run a couple times a month. We're the only track that runs their cars every single week.
Everybody wants to be at Millbridge.
They want to be here. So you're going to come here and abide by every rule. You're not going to argue. You're not going to fight with each other, with me, with my officials. I don't put up with it. I don't deal with it. My officials, they're not here making millions of dollars. They're not here making the calls. It's me and Jeremy. So I think that's the best thing about our track too, is Jeremy and I make 100% of the calls. Jeremy sits right here at this laptop and scores every single race. And I'm standing right next to him on the receiver and making any of the calls we make together. There's no like, so-and-so made the call, go talk to him. We are the ones making 100% of the calls. Anything that goes through the tech shed, as long as, obviously if it's black and white in the rule book, we don't have to get involved. But if it's anything that's a question, we get involved. So we're involved in 100% of everything that happens at this facility. So we're having more trouble with our micro field than we are with our kids and our parents. Just simply because, like you had said, the dynamic, there's a big dynamic. You have guys that work a 9-to-5 job, blue collar, that comes out just to have fun. And then you have teams like Chad Boat and Mike Carver that are leasing cars to Chevy, Toyota, and it's Gibbs and Hocevar, and there's a big dynamic there. So the NASCAR people think that we're picking on the NASCAR people because they're NASCAR people, and the people that aren't NASCAR people think that we're picking on them because they shouldn't beat the NASCAR people. So it's really hard. Our dynamic here is nothing like any other racetrack in the country. So it's hard to balance that, but they all know that it's a straight line here. I don't care your last name. I mean, people ask me all the time about Kyle Busch, and he pays at the front gate just like everybody else. No one gets in free. If you're coming to play, I don't care your last name. You play by the rules, and you go home. And that's kind of what we've embedded in everybody.
And most everybody listen to this knows about Millbridge, but let me just say this, everyone. Per racetrack, on any given night, you're going to see Kyle Busch, you're going to see Kyle Larson, you're going to see Christopher Bell, and they're hanging out like everyday people. And it is a sight to behold. It makes you take a double look. So when we talk about the dynamics, that's what we mean. You got the world's, we're not exaggerating. You have the world's greatest race car drivers there with their children up against somebody down the street that wants to race. Okay, so I read this, and I'd like to talk about you, and that's what we're doing. This is what you said on your post. Love starting the day out getting go-kart racers butt hurt about taking tire samples. And I love this part. Pretty simple. Don't put anything on your tires and you will pass. What is the deal? You can go up and down pit road and they're soaking in their tires, but I'm like, you're doing it right there. What is this dynamic? And everything's the dynamic. What, you can't soak tires, but yet they're soaking tires. What is this all about?
So we are a no-soak racetrack, period. Even we have a go-kart series, the D&Q series. That's the only go-karts that we race. Flat carts, I mean. So they are a Hoosier treaded only, no-soak. So Hoosier gave us these, the treaded tires. They go on go-karts, and there's no prep at all. And the go-kart world is, not only are they not used to no soak at all, but they're really not used to a racetrack that takes tire samples and send them to the lab. So when we started this, we said, look, we told the guy that runs the series, we said, if we're doing this, we're doing it 100%. We're taking tire samples. They're getting sent off. I've been accused of going our kids' stuff on Tuesday night. They buy a set of tires from us. They get them about 30 minutes before we race, and they're right over there in the shed. They go in a shed. They stay here all the time. You come here. We check out your tires. You put them on. You race. You clean them at our sinks right after your feature, and you put them back in the shed, period. We take tire samples every Tuesday night. We take tire samples from our micros and stuff Wednesday nights, and we take tire samples from our go-kart stuff on whenever they come on Wednesday nights. I've been accused of going in the tire shed and soaking someone's child's tire. I've been accused of that post that you had said. They were saying that unless you're a part of our clique, you won't pass tire samples. Well, Jeremy takes the tire sample, puts it in a bag, seals the bag, and hands it to me. And I go to UPS every whatever Thursday, and it goes right to the lab. So you have no clue. People have no clue about that. Every time that a tire sample has come back wrong, almost every single time it's somebody that we questioned that said, we'll say that's not coming back. And that's exactly what had happened with this. We knew it wasn't going to come back. We took it and it came back wrong. So it's funny that everybody moans and complains about it, but almost every single time we send out hundreds, probably more than anybody because we race more than anybody, hundreds of tire samples a year. I think I just sent out 4 from 1 week last week. That's $400 that, it's $100 a tire, and we do it every, tonight we'll probably take 2 or 3 tonight. So people just, they don't get it. You literally, people want to fight it till they're blue in the face that I didn't put nothing on my tires. Well, I am a testament that we send out hundreds a year, and I probably only get a handful that come back wrong. And out of them, over 50, 60% are ones that we sent off and said, they're not going to come back right. So just keeping a level playing field. But with the kids, with adults, we are no prep for nothing. And we plan to keep it that way. We like it like that. It makes a big difference.
At the racer and myself, when I came to your racetrack, it's like, okay, everybody's like combined, you can see it and smell it. So that's when you say, we're going to take a tire sample because we know people rat each other out. Competition will kill you. There's your trailer. We smell it. We see it. What are you doing? It is pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
We, even if we don't suspect something, I mean, if you win, we have 4 classes, but 3 that we actually take tire samples on a Tuesday night. And we'll either do a random, we have a spin wheel where you spin it. So top 3 is not safe. So it could land on box stock 3rd, and the guy that got 3rd in box stock gets their tires. So we do a random. If someone is a little faster than the field, we'll do it. Even though we know that some of them are just on it sometimes, obviously some kids are on it and they're going to be faster. But the best thing about our Tuesday night stuff is they all have the same sealed brakes motor, and they all have the same tires from the tire shed. So I read a lot of posts about Brexton Bush when he wins and, he's got the best of everything. Here at Millbridge, that does not matter. They have the same carts. They have the same motors. They have the same tires. There's really not much that you can do. It is strictly all driver. You literally, with them tires, you can change your air pressure, and that's about all you're doing. So it's driver.
When I was there were people there racing from Canada. There were people there from all parts of the United States. And they looked me right in the face. They were kind of excited. They didn't think I'd be there. And they looked at me and they said, "Oh my gosh, we win everything where we're from. Coming to Millbridge has really humbled us." And I said, "Honey," and it was a nice mama. And I said, "Honey, you're in NASCAR land. You're going to have the smartest. It's not the money. You're going to have the smartest, most innovative people. No different than your brother, Nick. Nick doesn't have any money, but he was smart. He is innovative. He's got friends." So my belief, Ashly, and I'm just backing you up, when you come to Millbridge, everybody from all over the world comes to North Carolina that wants to race. There's a difference. The people that come to North Carolina because they want to be part of racing, they're the smartest. And your racetrack is the toughest competition in the world. And these people get humbled real quick because everybody's so good. I guess you recognize you have the best in the world right there.
Yeah, we actually go to the Outlaw Kart Nationals out in Iowa every year. We take time to go out there to kind of support all of our kids that go out there. I think this year we had 30-something kids entered out there. We pretty much win just about every class that we're entered in. And everybody tells me all the time, like, why don't we have a nationals? Well, we don't have a nationals because if we go out to Iowa and kick their ass, they're not going to come all the way out to North Carolina to get their ass kicked. So, and that's how it happens. When you were here, that was our East Coast Nationals, and we just did it to kind of give back to everybody and thank you for the year or whatever. But no one's going to come. The open drivers came from all over, but box stock, stuff like that, they're not going to come. Whether it be different motor rules, tire rules, whatever. But they're not going to come and race against our kids when they see what comes to them and races against them. So yes, I know that my kids are the best in the nation in the outlaw karts. I have a lot of them that have moved up that are older kids now that are still doing just as well. And I'm every day proud of every one of them, no matter if they're in cadet and they're just starting out, all the way up to Max McLaughlin, who I've had since he started, and Gibbs, and all of them, Ethan Mitchell, Brent Cruz, Quapples. I follow them as much as I can. So it's a breeding ground. Everybody's smart. The track is banked, and it just makes a driver. It makes a driver not having the prep on the tires. It makes a driver that, they have the same sealed engine and they can't just mash the gas and turn the wheel and it goes. You got to put a driver in it. So it does make them a driver. And I'm really proud of that.
I want to keep bragging on you. I notice out of all the years that I've been around you, you always talk about my kids. And I'm proud of you too. Like you said, these kids start out there. They're, for lack of a better term, you breed them there. They
Yeah.
start there. Do you have any families? Because listen, they ask me all the time, hey, my kid's 8 years old. He's won 22 championships. And I want to go, well, have you been to Millbridge? Do you have any families that you know of that have, and you don't got to say their names. Has anybody moved to North Carolina to run Millbridge? Has anybody rented apartments?
Yes.
For the,
I have a family from Texas that comes, they're here now. So kind of after the school year, they come for a while. I have another family from Texas that actually moved here. They used to travel here every race day and then decided they were just going to move here. And I actually just have one. I don't know where they came from. But again, they literally moved here, and in their moving post, they posted, "We're excited to have Millbridge as our home track now." So yes, a lot of them.
And this is still all about you. This is about everything you go through. What drivers, you mentioned some of them, Max McLaughlin, the Quapples. What drivers are those the ones, which ones like stand out? Like they ran Millbridge, they started at Millbridge as kids and like they've made it. I guess Max, the Quapples, any others?
I had Brent Cruz when he first started.
Yeah.
And he was really good here. The Quapples continue. But there's a lot of them that it's amazing how far they've gone. And obviously there's, and not only that, not only the kids that started, but like the ones that came in later. I was proud the other day that Zilich,
Connor.
He came and ran. I had him for a while in micros. So not necessarily just as starting out as little, but like Ethan Mitchell, when he first started, they knew nothing about racing. I mean, his dad Bundy, Jim was wearing a Kyle Larson shirt, and he's like, "Who's Kyle Larson?"
No way.
They just knew nothing about racing, nothing about circle track. They were a motorcycle family. And it's funny that now they're so successful in everything that they do with the midget and the Honda engines. And now they're into short tracks and dirt tracks. And it's funny, the difference that they came from to where they are now. So
we're looking inside your world through your eyes. When I see the races run, and listen, everything you do is about that racetrack. And you're a wonderful lady. You take the vacations because you deserve them. You need them. Me too, sister. I take vacations too. One thing I notice about Millbridge, it makes the drivers nervy. It's almost as if the kids on purpose try to see if they can run the wall as close as they can. Do you ever hear conversations like they're always talking about ripping the lip. That's kind of an honor at your racetrack. What do you think?
Yeah, especially in the opens. When we had the open division, they always ran the top. When it was the Quapples and the Brent Cruz and stuff like that, they were always ripping the lip right on the top. Well, then the micros took over. And when we first started bringing the opens back, they're on the bottom. And Jeremy's like, I got to get these opens off the bottom. So that's why he built the berms in to kind of push it out a little bit so they'd get back on the top. And he was so excited at the race that you were at that they were ripping the lip. They were on the top. To be able to, how technical Millbridge is, and everybody's realizing that. So that's why we do have the Chevy and the Toyota, and they bring their drivers out here. They test on a weekly basis with drivers. There'll be a Monday night and I'll have just random Hocevar and whatever. They'll come out here because the reaction time and the technical of running the top in a micro, it's more like just training for them. So it's really cool to see them come out and use us as a training ground, to kind of just keep them sharp in the car. Obviously, they're not learning anything here compared to going to run Daytona, but just the reaction time, and it's just amazing that they use it as a training ground for that. And that's what they do, is you run all the way against the wall, and you got to be all the way up against that wall. Or it could, it could mean a lot in qualifying if you're not all the way up against it.
Yeah, high is fast. Here we are again. I always remind our guests, 46 minutes in, and we're just touching the surface. You've got to be proud. You have to be, when you look at these major car companies coming to your, what at once was a little old racetrack. When corporate America rolls in, we've seen Jade Avedizian, all these girls do these major national TV commercials that show up on everybody's TV in the world. What does that make you feel like when you see, for lack of a better term, Hollywood move in to do these? What's that make you feel like?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because to me, I don't know if Jeremy feels this way, but to me, it's still just a little old racetrack to me. Even with all the billboards and all the lights and this and that, I don't know. I think what helped me realize it's really special, I think, is when iRacing came in, and now we're on the World of Outlaws game. So to see my kid plug in his Xbox and go to Millbridge and start running laps, it's just is crazy to me.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So, and I think it's really cool for our kids to say that this is our racetrack. This is my home track. I think it's really cool for the sponsors, because all of the billboards are, you can run a midget right up to the wall and read billboards like you're standing right in front of them. So I get excited for myself, but I get excited for everyone else. I get excited for the kids and the publicity they get out of it. They're all famous. With Dirt Vision coming in, we go out to Iowa, and it's like these kids were on a reality show or something. They know every one of them. They know what they've done, and it's amazing to me that they can go there and be famous. Even if they don't know me, or there's times where I'd go places and no one knows who I am. But if you say something about Millbridge, oh, I know Millbridge, or I know that driver so-and-so races out there. So that's what I'm happy about, is everyone else gets excited and gets well-known out of it. That's all I care about.
Ashly, you come out of Belleville, Illinois. You matter. You're somebody. You are a boss. There has to be a boss in everything in life. You got to be a boss, and you are a boss, and you are somebody. If you don't do another thing in your life, you and your husband, you made Millbridge, and you made all these race car drivers. That leads me to this. You literally love, capital love, LOVE. You love racing. There you are in Vegas, 3, 4 in the morning, you and your husband on Snapchat or Instagram for the Formula One race. Then all of a sudden you leave at 3 in the morning after the nationals that I was at, and you're going to Eldora. So you're over here with Formula One. You're over here at Eldora. You love racing, don't you?
Yeah. We, the F1 thing, we're really, obviously we love racing and we love Vegas. So when you put racing into Vegas, we were not big Formula One people, but we said, this is cool. It's the first time, we got to go. Well, we've now already got plans to take Mason, because he really does like Formula One. So it's really neat to be able to take Mason next year, this year, in a couple months, Lord. And I love my dirt tracks. But Mason was just asking me the other day about Bristol. Bristol's coming up, Mom. When can we go? So I'm not a big asphalt person, but I just want to see a good race. So any dirt track I'll go to. I don't care if it's a good race. I'll go to it. But it seems that lately a lot of our so-called vacations have been spent at the racetrack. So, and I'm fine with that. I think the only way that you can be good in your business is if you go and see what other businesses are doing. So that was our big thing when we first started. Was I leaned on Tammy and Kevin Gundaker over at Tri-City a lot. Asked them a lot of questions. If you want to be as good as they are, you got to go. And I like to go sit. I sit in the grandstand. There's a lot of racetracks that I go to with Nick that when the support divisions are out, Jeremy's going to work on the racetrack. Or race car. I sit up in the stands and I watch. I want to see what everybody's doing. Like, what are they doing with fan interaction? What are they doing, calls that are made, or did that work out good? No, let's not use that. We like to look at a lot of formats on races, like, what is other places doing? What can we tweak to make it better? So you're only as good as what they're doing. So, we go to spend money to go to the Eldora, and anytime that we can go to Mod Mania at Tri-City, and we go to Chili Bowl every year. So whatever we can go out and not only learn what they're doing, but also get the Millbridge name out and kind of just push the racetrack as much as we can. I like to go do that as well.
I admire you. I respect you. So I'm going to ask you this question. It could be a tough one, and we'll end like this, actually. You know me, I've run asphalt and I've run dirt. I always remind everybody, for anybody that's never heard, I've ran 905 NASCAR asphalt races and concrete. And I grew up in ASA. So I've run thousands of asphalt races. And that's where I made my life. That's where I made my money. And then I found dirt, and I love dirt. It saved my life. So when you see people, dirt racing people especially, this is me, but then I'm going to ask you, okay? They're mad at NASCAR because they're too big. They think they're somebody. They think they're the man. What is your thought when you hear this battle cry for some of the dirt racing fans? I hate NASCAR, but we know they don't hate NASCAR. They're just pissed. What is your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's no different, and our stuff as well. You go to a track and then you complain about whatever. I think what I talk about a lot is you got to think about how we were during COVID. During COVID, we would have give anything to be at the racetrack, anything. And when we got back, everyone loved NASCAR. Everyone loved dirt tracks. Everyone didn't complain about anything at all because they were grateful to be where they're at. And I think we've lost that again. I think we've forgot how we felt during that time when we couldn't see our racing family, when we couldn't be on the racetrack, when we couldn't work on our race cars. I think we forgot that feel that we did when we could go and do it. So I love social media. It helps racetracks a lot, but the people that just get online, I mean, we see it with my brother, and we see, there was people that doubted my brother in the late model, and now we're top 3 in World of Outlaw points. I mean, and they'll still come up with an excuse of why he's up there. So, people are just hateful. I always say that you got to be grateful, not hateful. It's NASCAR the same. You don't like, oh, they shouldn't go here. Well, you want them to do something different. So, you got to throw something and see what sticks. Sometimes it doesn't stick. Was the Coliseum race an amazing race and whatever hope they dreamed? No. But I sat down and watched it, and they probably did too. They probably sat there just to critique it all, but they still turned their TV on to watch it. So I think that yes, NASCAR knows that everything that they do, it's not going to stick. Same with us. I mean, we tried Indy indoors. It was an absolute disaster and people bashed us. And we went back a couple years ago and started with Cody, the Gateway Dirt Nationals. We weren't afraid of people that were online talking because they weren't the ones putting up the money or putting up the work to try an event. So NASCAR is the same way, you know. I applaud them for trying different tracks and trying different events and getting the fans involved and giving us something else to watch. You're turning on your TV and watching it, whether you don't like it or not. So some people, I just want to just shut your TV off. You know, you don't want to watch it or you think it's horrible, just shut it off. Don't watch it. Go watch basketball. I don't know. So I applaud everything that everybody does. Owning racetracks, doing big events. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. And you never know if you're going to fail or if you're going to succeed. So NASCAR is the same way. You got to just help each other out. If it's something that was shit, then obviously a promoter's going to know it was shit and they're probably not going to do it again. But us as promoters have to try, because if you don't try, someone down the road's going to try. So you got to be that one to just push any kind of racing forward, make racing as a whole bigger. And that's our jobs as promoters. So yeah, I love new events and different racetracks. And I wish I always say that I want a big racetrack. I would love in my lifetime to be able to promote a big racetrack and have a late model modified street stock event. But obviously that's not in my cards. So yes, I applaud everything that NASCAR does. And if they don't like it, then they can just watch something else.
Yeah. You have been absolutely fantastic. I love racing like you do. And I love what you just said. All right, listen up, everybody. That's it. And we are in podcast form. You can listen to Ashly Burnett on your way to work, on your way back home. We are iTunes and Spotify. Ashly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we got to look inside Ashly Burnett. So everybody that's headed to Millbridge, watch this first. I respect you immensely. All right. The Kenny conversation just keeps on rolling. We have great guests lined up. And until the next Kenny conversation, we'll see you next time.